Well, this week there is only one real story that's hit the sort of press hard, isn't there? And it is the one and only infamous Howard Stern has been sort of cancelled.
Kind of. In a twisted, weird way that they want to try and explain it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like not really cancelled, but kind of just allowed to expire.
Yeah, so I've heard in one report that his contract's coming to an end and he might not sign for $100 million.
Yeah, but then, I mean, 100 million to me and you is like, why wouldn't you? Like, what possible reason have you got not to sign?
Yeah.
But to a man like Howard Stern, who, I mean, when he signed for Sirius in 2004, 5, something like that, signed for $500 million and is now worth over $1 billion.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably why. Like, he's got to that stage where he's just got FU money and is like,
yeah.
And what really is left for him to do? I mean, we'll get into him, you know, what's been going on more later on, but what more has he got to do or prove? He's been doing it since, like, I think the early 80s. I think he made his fame in the sort of mid to late 80s. I'm not too sure on that. But essentially, I mean, what has he got left? Probably what has he got left in him, but also what has he got left to do?
I don't know, but judging by his judging on America's Got Talent, I would feel he's probably being paid a very, very good wage for that. He's, like you say, he's already got FU money from previous.
American Idol?
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Is he still doing it?
I believe so.
I don't even know if that's still a thing. Is it still going?
I'm not sure. But he was certainly on it for a good few seasons, where he has toned down anything that was the reason that people would tune in. The Shock Jock thing has gone. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of died a death, hasn't it? I mean, you know, to give more context and more background to Stern, I mean, he is probably the original Shock Jock, isn't he? Or if he's not the original, he's one of, and is probably the biggest name in shock jockery. I mean, I was always more of an O&A fan, so I don't really know that much of his you know, day-to-day show. I know Artie Lang used to be a big member of his show, and Jackie the Joke Man, and I only really know them because of Anthony Cumia and Compound Media, that kind of thing. But I mean, he was the biggest name in American media, I think, for a long time. I think it's safe to say one of the biggest, you know, outside of film and TV. I think he kind of encompassed all of it, because he did make like DVDs or VHSs at the time or whatever, didn't he? And things like that. But he's probably the big name in shock jockery, one of the pioneers, if not the pioneer. You know, literally held the mantle for a good 40 years, I think, as like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, media presenters or personalities or whatever you want to say, and was kind of the voice of the working man, is what people would say he was. Yeah, I mean, I've worked in the trade in the UK, and I'm sure you've done jobs. But you know, we all kind of, you know, that kind of humor is you know, gallows humor at like in its nicest form, and in its actual purest form of the day to day, it's just grimy, horrible, the most degenerate form of gallows humor that you can think of. And some crazy stuff that I used to get up to with my mates back in the day. And I think that's why he was so successful, is because it was like looking at your mate. Like he was like kind of representing you and your mates and doing the crazy stuff that you were doing on building sites and stuff. He was doing in a studio, and he was bringing in like fit young girls and like throwing sausage meat at their asses and stuff, like
while they rode Sibian machines. Is it Sibian? Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, all that kind of crazy stuff, and he did that for decades and decades. And he was the most. I mean, he's famous for being the most debaucherous, like just callous, horrible, ripping people apart. You know, going on rants and all kinds of stuff, and just being incredibly funny.
Yeah, he did give Beetlejuice a chance, didn't he? As well, I read somewhere that his little mate Beetlejuice he found him when he was trying to promote his dwarf throwing business.
Yeah.
This is apparently true. And I'm not sure if this bit's true, but Beetlejuice, just on a side note, married a death cult leader, and he killed her with an axe to the face.
Really?
This is what I heard. Now, if Howard Stern's given that person a chance, I think there's probably a chance he's a nice guy. I don't know. I don't know how true any of that is, but
Beetlejuice was crazy looking though, when he with his boggy eyes and stuff, and crazy look. I mean, that it's just that kind of stuff alone, like you say, is just, that's what his show is famous for.
Yeah,
just the craziest of crazy people doing the craziest of craziest stuff in the traditional morning zoo style back in the day in the States. And like I say, I was always an O&A fan, so I
Oranges and Apples.
Yeah. No, Opie and Anthony. I was always an O&A fan and loved Jim Norton, and I got to know them through Bill Burr. Personally, I know. No, I don't. No, I mean, like I was a Bill Burr fan. I was watching his stand up in like 2005 and stuff like that. Literally was. Not anymore, unfortunately, just because I just think he's boring. I don't care about his politics. I just don't think he's very funny anymore.
I care a lot about his politics. It's just, not his politics as such, but the fact that he's gone from completely one way to where there were no holds barred really, or he was pointing out the obvious or the ridiculousness of life to now siding with that. And and the people that he was hanging around with and the comedians that he came up with and made his name from being with Patrice O'Neill, people like that, were never shy. I mean, obviously Patrice O'Neill was a black comedian, but they're never shy of talking about race and sex and misogyny and all that kind of stuff. And yet now, because he's got a Disney contract, that all goes away. And that's kind of, to bring it back to Stern, it's what Stern's done as well, isn't it? It's gone from, I'm the biggest shock jock in the world, I'm going to do the craziest stunts and treat women like this and do all this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then Simon Cowell comes in and massages his...
Well, it's like he kind of went, when he went to Sirius, I think the big thing is that he completely changed. And I know I'm saying I'm not a big fan, but I mean, you've only got to have seen the kind of stuff that he was putting out, and everybody's seen that the Paul McCartney interviews and stuff like that, where he's like bringing in these massive names. Well, that really wasn't a thing, was it? Before, I mean, when he was doing his morning zoo type stuff and his shock jockery stuff, there was no way that Paul McCartney was going to go on that show. But when he went to Sirius, the 500 million deal, it's almost like they changed his brand and were like, no, you need to stop doing the craziness. Obviously it didn't stop overnight, but he just stopped doing the craziness, turn it down, because we can bring in like massive stars and you can become even more a member of the sort of media elite. And I think that he obviously liked that, and the fact that he was exactly, and the fact that he was always he's making more money and more fame and more, part of, I suppose, nicer conversations rather than being on the front page for like having a media feud or an FCC fine or whatever. And I think he probably liked that more and more. And then that, like you say, that came along and it just sort of changed the game in a way that was seductive, but also I think he just kind of lost himself in that. And I think people were putting too much emphasis on his wife, like his second wife or something. They say like, he changed after that. I don't know. I couldn't really comment on that. But to go from being such a horrible, like, shock jock comedian to now I'm the biggest woke pushing Kamala Harris and isn't Trump bad and isn't misogyny bad and all that. And it's like, what were you doing? What were you doing back in the day?
While we're at the word woke, should we define the word woke?
If you want.
Because in the comments, we keep getting, it depends what your idea of woke is, and it depends.
Yeah. I think it's not as big an own as people think it is when they go, define woke.
No.
And it's like, well, okay, shit. Not good stuff. It's like, unfortunately, it's just the way that media in particular has gone with it is it's gone so far one way, and it's just alienated everyone that wanted to watch this kind of stuff. And they've gone so far one way that it's kind of just alienated everybody else, and now it's like, well, we want some more of this again.
Yeah.
So everyone that went that way and kind of leaned into it and was like, oh, I can make shitloads of money doing that. Now they're realizing, well, people don't really watch it. So, and if I can't just go where the wind is blown. So I'm stuck on this. And that's why I think, like, to bring it back to Stern again, is why this cancellation or this expiry thing is happening, because he's gone down that route, and he's in bed with those people, and he's in bed with that kind of style of media and all that stuff. And now he can't go back the other way.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with changing, obviously, and kind of softening up as you get older and things like this. But when your mindset has been something for so many years, and then the big bucks roll in, and your mindset suddenly changes, you've got to think, well, that was just a bank adjustment. Essentially, that wasn't a life changing moment. That was someone saying, say less of this for more cash.
Yeah, well, this door will open if you say this.
That's right.
Rather than don't say this, it's say this and this door will open.
Well, I've said about it was the same with the Epstein thing that we were talking about, where it's like, pushing a message through pop stars and actors and things like that. Be the puppet, Stern.
Yeah.
Be a puppet.
And I mean, that's the big sad thing, I suppose. Like, he was and it is the end of an era, like without people like Stern, it is just, like I say, the end of, I don't really see where satellite radio goes from here, but it's kind of like what void he's left. Who's going to be able to fill it? Because it's not like nobody could do it and do it justice. It's just like that SiriusXM are not going to want. I mean, I don't think they would. They don't censor people, and they don't. I don't think they really care whether you're left or right or anything like that, or pro-Trump or anti-Trump. Don't know. Don't listen to it. But I think that's the problem, is that people don't listen to it.
Yeah. But do you think that was the part of the change as well? Was like, it used to be. It was a visual thing, wasn't it? When he was bringing the girls in and doing all crazy stuff. Do you know what I mean? There was a visual element to it, and now it's like, well, most people are listening to stuff as opposed to watching these things. So therefore, we've got to bring in better guests and with different line of questioning and things like that. Things that'll entertain the ears as opposed to the eyes.
I don't know. I think the actual reason is that it's actually the opposite of that, because I think if you think back to when he started in the 80s, there was no video. Well,
of course, yeah.
So I think maybe that's what's undone him, is that, you had to use your imagination so they could do more with the theatre of the mind. And when, like, even TV came along and was more of like a magazine style TV thing, that killed that, really. And then when satellite radio came along, that was supposedly going to kill FM radio, because you could swear and you could do different things, and there was like not as much censorship from the FCC as there was in the sort of terrestrial market. And then when podcasting came along, it really did kill radio. And apparently, that being said, there is like a renaissance of FM radio in the States, which has come out of nowhere. And again, to be in keeping with the Shock Jock thing, Anthony Cumia, obviously cancelled for whatever happened with him. He's now back. And OP, who went woke, apparently, I mean, OP's sadly a bit of a joke. Even his own audience turned against him because all of the comedians came out and started basically saying, like, well, he's been a knob for years or whatever. And that, you can get into that rabbit hole if you want to go down that one, but I'll leave that to the comment section. But it's very much the case that, like, the ones that have gone to the left to chase the access, like literally just I can get access to, because I mean, Stern was interviewing Biden and Kamala Harris and stuff like that during the run-up to the last election. So he went that way to chase that access, because that access is like incredible. You can think about like, you know, what Joe Rogan got out of the Trump podcast and what Trump got out of the Joe Rogan podcast. That was like a mutually beneficial thing, because you can say what you want about Rogan being the big, and he doesn't need any help, don't get me wrong, but like that has really cemented him in history, isn't it? That podcast.
That's it. I mean, Stern was too busy calling all Trump supporters idiots.
And really backstabbing his audience. I think that's the shame of it, you know, that he did backstab his audience. Whether you agree with Stern or against him, it's not really sustainable to build an audience for 20, 30, 40 years and then turn your back on them. They're not really going to go with you, are they?
No.
And I think that's a lesson that like sort of media people have learned. I mean, not us, because we aren't exactly a world-renowned podcast of 40 years, you know, audience. But it's more.
Well, let me tell you, I'm bringing the dancing girls in now.
But no, it's more like, I think they're learning that now. I think Hollywood's learned that the hard way as well. Like they've kind of really tried to push social media, especially, you know, COVID. Really, they kind of tried to push their stars in social media, but I think to just remain relevant in that period, and all it did was kill them. Yeah, because we saw what knobs they were. You know what I mean? We saw their true colours, and I think, unfortunately, that's kind of been its downfall, and I think that's kind of been Stern's downfall, and even Bill Burr's, whatever happened with Bill Burr, that's kind of happened as well. And that, I mean, that goes into the late night show. What's he called? Just got cancelled. Colbert? Stephen Colbert?
Stephen Colbert.
Is it Colbert? The one that just got cancelled as well. Like he's done.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Literally, one of the big ones. The one that danced around with the syringes during COVID. I can't believe his name has slipped both of our minds, but he's done as well.
Stephen Colbert. You got Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
It's the one with the glasses.
Colbert.
I
didn't know about this.
Yeah, no, he's gone. He's gone as well. And I think that's, people are claiming it's part of this deal that's going on, this merger deal that's going on. And apparently it's because Trump, they said, you know, Trump didn't like him, so Trump's got rid of him, and the studio is getting rid of him because they want the merger to go through. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, there may be some truth in that, like keep the president sweet, because it has to go through federal approval or something. Keep him sweet, yeah, but also, well, it's a really expensive show. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and nobody watches it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, the same thing with Stern. I mean, 100 million. You're going to turn down 100 million, and they're like, well, we're not budgeting on that. We're not giving you any more money. It's like, I didn't even know they would be able to offer 100 million SiriusXM in 2025, and definitely not in 2026. And I don't know, it's just crazy. It's like, it's all kind of coming home. The chickens are all coming home to roost, I think, for some people. It's just, you know, it's the sign of the divided times, like I keep going on about in my videos. It's just like, people on the left are obviously looking for martyrs. People on the right are looking for heads. Like, you know, not just on the bloody death bar or whatever, you know, like to literally just lop them off and be like, no, don't like you anymore. I don't know, it's a crazy time.
But these people, I mean, people like Stern, we mentioned at the beginning, you know, he's got all the money. He doesn't need to work another day in his life. No. So, and these are people who are in their 60s now. So
older, I think. Yeah. I think he's older. I don't know.
He's not 70, is he?
I think so. He fucking looks it.
Really?
He looks terrible.
He can't help that.
True. Immutable characteristics and all that.
But so they probably don't care. They probably don't care as they roll into the last years of their life, or of their working life.
He's going to live for another 300 years with all his money.
He does look pickled.
He does.
Not that we want to talk about his looks.
No. But yeah, I mean, I think there is something in going when the time is right as well, isn't there? You know, like.
Well, it's not shocking anymore, is it? You see more shocking things
No.
in the street.
Well, so I saw something the other day, and it was like the most shocking and rebellious thing you can do at the minute is go to church. And I think that's true. That's the sad thing. It's like, well, because what are you going to do? Like, you know, dress like a punk? Ooh. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be a rebellious person, it's like straighten up and fly right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've got to say on Stern and about you. I mean, like I say, I was always more of an O&A fan, and still love the old bits.
I remember when I was younger.
When I was young, you see the life was so wonderful.
You might be able to tell me what this was, but Howard Stern was in a film about Howard Stern.
I think he's done a few, isn't he?
I can't remember. It was one of the excuse me. It's one of the very few films that I did video to video, you know, pirating essentially.
Right.
But I cannot remember for the life of me what that was or why I mentioned it.
Well, I know he had a TV show, didn't he? And he did release a load of videos and stuff that are like, again, his radio show, which was debaucherous and crazy in video form. So,
this was an acted film about him. But I can't remember.
I think he released films as well. Yeah. I don't know. So, I mean, what do you think then? I mean, what's Sirius going to do now? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter who they bring back.
Well, I didn't get to actually see the whole of this, and I wish I'd researched it before we started this. But just before I came to do this, it mentioned something about Lars Ulrich from Metallica going on to Howard Stern's show, and they're going to team up and do something. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
Serious metal or something, or
I don't know, because they've got loads of different channels, don't they? It's like the Beatles channel or the Elvis channel, where it's just Elvis stuff and just Beatles stuff. So maybe there is like a serious metal thing, and they're going to do something on.
Is Howard Stern a metal fan? I don't know what is.
I think he was just classic rock and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about. But
again, I mean, he's going to be there for another few months, isn't he? It's not like he's going overnight. It's not like he's actually been cancelled and he's got to pack up his gear and go. So maybe. But what does he do after this? Does he go into podcasting? Because he's going to, I mean, his audience is not there anymore. Or at least the audience that would like to see him in that kind of podcast.
Well, he's become a family favourite, hasn't he? Now, along with the America's Got Talent lot, he's part of the crew. He's the primetime TV fun Howard Stern.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because he definitely is part of that mob that invented modern podcasts. You know, especially Opie and Anthony. I think there's loads of comedians. I think Joe Rogan even said it, where it's like they ultimately inspired the Joe Rogan experience, just because it was the way that you could come on, didn't matter who you were, you could talk about whatever you wanted, and it was just try and find funny or try and find something interesting or whatever. No script, just turn up and go for it. And that is a format that I think nearly every podcast uses. We definitely do. We're just talking off the top of our heads. But like, how does Stern, what's his USP? What's his like differentiate, you know, whatever, like what makes him different? Because is he going to be able to bring on all of his celebrity friends? Maybe.
I'd like to see that in a kind of Band-Aid style last edition, everyone that's ever been on.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. If he could, I mean, what if he got into the room with like Artie Lang again, people like that? That'd be fun.
Have to find him in the toilets.
Yeah, if he's still alive at that point, bless him. Again, you know, I think it's just the end of an era and a sign of the times, and I think it may be it's probably time, you know, can't be around forever, and he's been doing it forever. And it's just a sign of what's really sad is that there's nobody there to replace him.
No.
You know, there's nobody to pass the torch to.
Fancy it?
Yeah, I'll be up for it. Yeah. For 100 million, yeah.